dreams will live in large. Get your stream pass NFT, take charge.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. King Lore, Queen Brittany, King Eddie, NOT NFT NYC right around the corner. I'm very excited. Thank you all for joining us today. Happy Friday. Hope you've had a rad week. Lore, I know you are picking up some pieces right now. We're setting the energy, my king. All will be fine. It will be fine. Up only, baby. Up only. Welcome. How are y'all? How are you? How are you? How are you?
Bro, living the good life, son.
Amen.
Doing the Lord's work over here. Yeah, man, just prepping, working. We excited about our event in a couple weeks, and just fucking hitting the ground running. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Amen. I got to say, most beautiful couple in Web3, Queen Brittany and Eddie, no doubt. I think definitely most beautiful public couple, without a doubt. Congratulations on your recent anniversary, and thank you all for joining us today as well.
Oh, thank you for having us, Rad. We love you. It's such a blessing to be here and run it back with the Rad fam. I'm so excited for our first IRL link up after years of knowing each other.
Amen. Amen. Me too.
Yo, you guys totally skipped over Lords. I'm doing the Lord's work over here. That was hilarious. I was laughing on this end. Good morning, everybody. This is definitely 9 a.m. only over here on the West Coast. So I know you guys are already at lunchtime over there. So I just GM. So it's never too late to say the GMs. What's good, fam?
Never. Good morning, and welcome. You guys are all crushing it in your own lanes together. Very excited to attend NOT NFT NYC. As you know, the whole Rad team will be there, and really excited to kind of, I don't know if you guys have done interviews as a group before and told your story of how you all got started, how you met. So we've got you for a couple hours today and very excited to dig into everything. So don't want to jump around too much here at the beginning, and want to remind you all that we are live. This is a podcast that goes out to all streamers. This is, of course, being broadcast all over the world right now. So just keep that in mind while you're answering questions. We do cut clips and things. So depending on how doxed you are, just keep that in mind as we are live. I know you guys are used to it, but just like to say it to the guests to remind you that this is going out everywhere. So you guys have been doing All of Us Radio for about over 4 years now. I think it started before NOT NFT NYC. Can you give us a little rundown of how you guys met and what brought this group together? How did you guys initially link up?
Go for it, Laura.
Take it away, Lore. He's the only one, obviously, worried about docs. So.
Oh man. So yeah, bro. How do we even describe this? So we're a group that was formed out of a rug project that shall not be named. But we were all a part of and in. No, it's actually crazy. It's odd that I had the foresight to do this, but I would do spaces. Just community spaces for this thing that we all thought was going to blow up. It was going to be the next Bored Ape Yacht Club, and it wasn't. But I would host these spaces for the community, and what happened is I would record those spaces and I would post them to Spotify, iTunes, all of that. And I was just kind of trying to expand the reach. Through that, Eddie and Britt were just happening to learn about NFTs and stuff like that, and they found that on Spotify. Of all things to for this to happen is that I was onboarding. What do you want me to tell you? I was onboarding before onboarding was cool, and so they jumped into that, and then they would often be a part of those spaces. And Eddie was kind enough to buy me a domain name, an ENS. And it's funny that happened because at that time, I was telling my wife, man, I'm sick of this. I think this is a rug. It's not looking good. I don't like it. I'm going to leave. And she's like, you really can't do that, dude. Like, you have a community of people that have rallied around you. You don't want to, like, do them any harm or do anything bad with them. And that when Eddie did that, it was like one of the coolest things that had happened to me in Web3 at that point. And so it just kind of pushed me and motivated me to keep pushing and moving forward. And through that, All of Us Radio was kind of born, and it just became a weekly thing. And we would we would rock with certain projects here and there, but we also knew that there was an importance of keeping this separate from any, I don't know, any individual project, and kind of doing it ourselves. And so yeah, I mean, they would just show up, and constantly we were doing spaces. We had a whole bunch of spaces that we would do Monday through Thursday at 6 to 9 p.m. They would have all kinds of different segments in them. The Astro Report, Eddie's Hood Report. There's been different characters and varieties of people on the show, and it just morphed and morphed and morphed. And we had the crazy idea to throw an event. Well, I should say, I had the crazy idea. Whenever I have a crazy, what I love about Eddie and Britt, my nephews there, is that whenever I have a crazy idea, they're the first ones to be like, yeah, and all we have to do is this. And I've adopted this all we have to do model from them. So it started in a hole in the wall bar, turned into a off Broadway production. We moved it to the World Trade Center, and now we're bringing it back, baby, to the theater.
Let's
I hope
go.
that's a
Let's go.
long-winded answer.
No, that's a perfect answer, and so cool that that's how you guys met. What a serendipitous way to link. Brittany, Eddie, anything to add into that story before?
He gave you the super fast version, but we've been through hell in these trenches together. We've been through rugs. We've been through, we really did think that that project, that project that shall not be named, was the next BAYC. We really thought we were early. But it's really, it's just a blessing to be here.
Voldemort project.
Exactly. And we had a full circle moment on AOU where we interviewed the rugger and the founder and got them on stage to answer for their crimes. So AOU has definitely been in the space. Laura had his old page. It got taken down. I mean, we've been through it, but we're still here. And we're just really excited to have our 4th annual NOT NFT NYC really be the best one yet.
Yeah, and to add on to her as well, all of us had brought different talents to the table as well. Like Lore's history before he started posting to Spotify and doing, taking control of a media for an NFT project, he was already interviewing people before. He was, trying to do some journalists and I don't know if Lore wants to talk about that a little bit, but that's some of his history. So he had the talent of that, right? And then I've done like websites, I've done hip hop blogs, I've done vlogs. I was big on YouTube, probably first to do any shorts, like 60-second videos on YouTube, and it like blew my channel up, like whatever. And then Brittany she has like a professionalism with knowledge and management, events and PR. And so all of us like kind of forming together was just like Voltron, where it was like, even if we didn't have too many resources or, that big of a followings, because obviously we were doing this 4 years ago, so we were even smaller accounts, and we were able to do it because all of us kind of brought different things to the table, and you can kind of pull things off in this space with that. So that's just like important ingredients to add, is like all of us kind of had some history before we were like, you know what, let's do this for the community. Let's do something fun.
I love that. And I'll add in, watching you guys for the past several years, if how you think of a boy band and you think like, well, it needs that character, it needs this character, it needs this character. You guys really do kind of fit the puzzle pieces for what a big radio show looks like. You are very diverse, you're knowledgeable in many different areas, and you all have incredibly diverse backgrounds coming together and sharing the information you have. Like I loved you guys venturing in down the financial path and starting to kind of form your own lanes of, Eddie, you're posting things regularly that are out of my league as far as financial products and the way you're thinking about investments and stuff. Brittany's always been super positive. I've seen her posts blowing up lately, and motivational stuff and finance stuff and investing in yourself. And back when you were doing the the wrap ups, the what's going on in the crypto market, the astrology posts that you were doing during the shows. I loved all of that. And Laura, I think you're an incredible host. I've told you guys this publicly and privately for years. You guys run what I think is the best live show, and it's awesome to see that you've added video. Really excited to see you guys live. How many episodes do you think you've done now, Laura?
Oh God. I mean, there was a point where we were keeping track of it, and what we would do is we would always do things different with All of Us Radio, and I'll just give you a few key examples. I mean, number one, we would go on Monday through Thursday at 6:09 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. We would host Monday morning meetings on Friday afternoons. We would on Thursdays we would get crazy. We would do crazy ads
Yeah, Thursday's crunk.
yeah, dude. Thursdays are wild, especially if we're not on video. And yeah, I mean, so all that to say is that there was a point where we were celebrating, instead of celebrating milestone episodes like, oh, our 100th episode or 200th episode, we would celebrate every 69th episode. You know what I mean? It would be 69th. Look, shout out to our 69th episode, and then it would be the 138th episode, our second 69th episode, right? And then it would be the 207th episode. And so there was a point in time where we were actually keeping track. Eventually, after so many beers and so many crazy times, the count just started getting messed up, and we stopped counting after a while. But I don't know, man. 4 days a week over several years, it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes.
Amen. Amen. For those of you just joining us, welcome. Happy Friday, Rad Friday to you all. We are with the All of Us Radio crew that is hosting their 4th annual event in NOT NFT NYC. It's at the Producers Club, June 26th. It's a Thursday. It's going on all day. They've got a bunch of awesome sponsors. There's a comedy show, art, panelists, speakers. There's food and drinks. There's going to be merch. They're doing giveaways. They've got a bunch of awesome sponsors. A bunch of cool people are going to be there, and a bunch of very knowledgeable, present community members that have been showing up for years. Not just here for number go up. They've been here when number goes down, and have good energy while they're doing it. So today we're talking with them and excited to learn all about their history and the events that they've got coming up. So, you're 4 days a week. That is a huge commitment. People don't really understand how much work that is. I mean, you guys are going live for an hour, 2 hours, 4 days a week. Are you still going hard 4 days a week right now?
No, currently we dialed that back. We had to actually, so we were going 5 days a week, and then we started going 4 days a week. And then we were like, you know what, 4 days of some serious shows is kind of crazy, and we were doing guests all the time. So we were like, let's only do guests, a couple times a week. And then we were like, you know what, guests once a week. And we kind of had to dial it back so much that that we were like, you know what, we want to basically put out like quality content, and we really want to like tap in with our audience. And I think it's a lot to ask of your audience to show up every day for a certain amount of time, and it's like, as investors ourselves, we know that time is like your most valuable asset. So making it more consumable for everybody was probably like our biggest task. And even our pivot from being like a degen friendly show, we've already transitioned to like a financial show. And I think lore helps us still keep a little bit of the fun in there as well, because we all kind of collab on different ideas and stuff. So we've dialed it back to only once Thursdays, and then occasionally we'll do a regular space, so 2 times max a week.
And I do want to just mention, like you said, we have been around for a while, and we've lived different lives while we've been doing the show. When we first started, we were pretty new. We were like, we have to get into the grind. We have to figure this out. And then slowly but surely, we had to take some time off the show to get married and become work optional. So now the show looks different. We're able to focus on it because Eddie and I have been in a work optional position right now. Laura's working on his work optional position. So yeah, we had to pull back, but that pullback was really for us to be able to go full force back with AOU.
Amen. There's one thing I think being in our position at Rad TV that we see in the space that's resonated with us personally as creators, and when we look at creators in the space, consistency is very tough. And it is the thing that separates most content creators. And it's like the one thing that most people don't think of. They're like, I need great content and I need a ton of great content. Not really. You just need a good piece of content every Tuesday or every Thursday or whatever it is. And you need to be able to do that forever. You can't take off like 3 months or 6 months or whatever. It's really about the consistency. And I think you guys have done that and showing up every day. I know how much work that is. So I want to applaud you and give you a pat on the back and some public flowers for showing up the way you guys have. I'm going to give a little bit of background that I have on you all. I know Lord, you've been hosting stuff. You guys have done hundreds of episodes. I'm assuming it's 4 years of showing up. And from my perspective, what you guys have done is you kind of opened the door for several years to like remove gatekeepers, and you were allowing voices that weren't really getting heard to come on that show. Rad was one of those voices, let's be serious. You guys were one of the first people to like really shine a light on us and invite us to come and tell our story as we were really finding our footing and our purchase in the community and really finding, our way forward. How do we service this community without extracting from it totally? And that's a very fine line to walk as a business. And I think you guys are kind of setting the stage to allow people to walk that line and tell their story in a way that's not sales pitchy, and thank you for coming on here today and telling that story, Laura. And so Eddie and Britt, we were following you guys before you were married, before you were engaged. We watched the engagement happen on X. We watched you guys starting to post about one another more, and that whole beautiful trip that you took, and the proposal being on the space. It just kind of felt like you were sharing with the community, and I felt like, we were all there with you. And so I want to say again, congratulations. And I also want to pat you both on the back to say that we have noticed here at Rad how you guys have transitioned into being the influencers and the thought leaders you are in both of your spaces, and the work you guys are doing with HoodRetail, and even like the stuff you've been posting with like branding and stuff on packaging and stuff is incredible for the space. It's art and stuff that I don't think people really consider when they're talking about what do we have to do when we make a product. And you guys know the flow of what it takes to get something from like concept to the streets and to the consumer. And I think that, Lord touched on that right at the top of the space was all we have to do. And if all we have to do is these things, you guys are seeing the whole picture and bringing it to the table. And now this year, it looks like this has resulted in NOT NFT NYC being, this is your biggest one, I would say. You guys got a list of sponsors. You guys got like a dozen sponsors or more. You guys are killing it. Everybody we know is going to the event. Everybody's buying tickets, and we're really excited about it. Tell us about the event you got coming up. Tell us what you got planned, and a little bit about what entails setting up this event in New York City. I know you guys aren't in New York City, so it's not easy to plan an event across the country. So anything you want to share on that front?
Definitely. Before we get to that, I do want to just touch on you speaking about removing gatekeepers and the cabal, and that's really not something that's something that AOU has really prided itself on. Everybody gets a voice, everybody gets a time on stage. We want to hear everybody's story, and also we're passionate about this because we don't want people to be in the 9-to-5 rat race. You're driving to work every day, spending an hour, 2 hours commuting. We don't want that for this generation. We want things to be better. So we just really want to, it's the perfect space to talk about bridging TradFi and DeFi, all for the growth and for the goal of financial independence. So that's really what we're here for. We're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to, gain followers like that. We're here to just free people from the matrix, honestly. And I think that's why we stayed in this space and stayed consistent. because it's truly a passion of ours. But before, just had to mention that. And Eddie will definitely tell you all about NOT NFT NYC this year.
I will. I'll say it for you. You said we're not selling you anything. I'm going to tell you what you sold me. And I told you guys a little bit about this previously, but I love Robinhood, right? And I watched you guys posting about Robinhood. I think it was like $8. It was like the all-time low when y'all were posting.
We got in on IPO, yes, sir. We've been posting since initial public offering. It's been a good ride.
I bought a big old bag at $8. I bought a bunch of options late, and I was just like, man, it's all I use. Robinhood's all I use. Of course, it's going to cook. And it went, and I sold early, and every day now I watch you all, and I'm like, listen, these cats told me to buy Robinhood at free 99. And now Robinhood's looking like it's going to $500 a share. And I didn't ride the boat the whole way. I really, I'm a flip the biddy kind of guy. So anything's a win. That's a win. I like the wins, but I just want to say, you guys have been telling people some things to buy, and it has been very lucrative opportunities.
Bro, Hood is still the play. I know you feel like, I don't know.
I think you're right. But I think you're right.
You have. We didn't get S&P inclusion. There was nobody that got S&P inclusion this last time, so we have until September. I'm dead serious. Buy in until we hit 3 digits.
I think you're
get
right,
back
for sure.
in now.
I think you're right. Go ahead, Laura.
I can't let the Robinhood conversation go by without mentioning though that the base, when it does get S&P included, is $80. So it's like wherever it trades, if you see a dip somewhere lower, there is still a swing trade there. Because as soon as S&P inclusion happens, we know that it'll be at 80, because that's what the market gave it when they thought it was going to be.
But I really do love to see so many people more in the crypto space more excited about Robinhood now. They are creating their own blockchain. They just were like the diamond sponsor for ETH. They're with all this regulatory clarity happening, Robinhood is going to be at the forefront. This is the exchange you want to be on. They have their own wallet, their own credit. They are doing all things financials. We talk about X being the everything app. Robinhood really will be the everything financial app.
And I'll let Lord cook on NOT NFT NYC right now. But I do, because it doesn't matter if there's 5-10 people listening that do crypto. If you do traditional finance and you understand everything about meme communities and crypto and DeFi and stuff like that, if you have that knowledge, as soon as you step into the traditional finance world, you have real alpha over Wall Street. And so that's just something, if you could take anything away from why we transition from like a NFT crypto space to our financial space, and why things have kind of went into that route, it's all because the value is really right there. Where if you understand crypto and you understand memes and communities, you can find stocks very, very low before everybody else, before the analysts are talking about it or anything. And that's just something you should take away, to be like, oh yeah, I am chasing degen coins that have no underlying business attached to it, but I can also follow a business that does crypto as well and profits off crypto. And you might understand that better than a traditional analyst would. And that's just like never been an opportunity. So it's a little golden era right there that we are now trying to take advantage of, with obviously content being switched to independent creators and then this move towards AI and crypto. It's like you have to find where your niche is, and for us, it's right here.
Amen. I think it's also worth noting that like the speed of the markets has changed in the last couple years, and you guys were probably, like I was, enamored with crypto while crypto was totally separate from these other markets. But now they're so intertwined, and the markets are moving at the speed of a text. Any post from a handful of people is a market manipulator, and if you're out here tuned in, there's a lot of volatility, and volatility is opportunity. So I highly recommend following these three here in this space and paying attention to what they're talking about.
I love that you say that markets are moving at the speed of light, and they're being settled with stable coins. When I say it's a stable coin summer, like it really is, because stable coin settlement is happening through Robinhood right now. Once the banks start implementing it, we won't have, oh, you're moving your Apple Pay from Apple Pay to your bank account. It takes about 72 hours if you don't want to pay that fee. This will be a thing of the past. Everybody will be using stables and they won't even know that they're actually using stables. When we talk about what's the onboarding event that we're going to see, I always say it's not sexy, but I think it's going to be stable coins because that's just what traditional banking needs. And we see Bitcoin banking is happening with Fold, and Coinbase just got they're putting out a Bitcoin banking card. So really it's just happening now. This is the time, the time that we've all been waiting for
Yes,
since the Celsius
this is
rug,
it.
since all of this horrible stuff that's happened in this space. Now is the time that if you didn't get shaken out, if you're not just logged out and completely off of it, now's the time to really lock in and make that money.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys saw what coin. Go ahead, Laura. Go.
I was going to say just three things before I kind of jump into not NFT NYC, or to kind of add to what Eddie was saying is that the first thing I have to say is that Eddie and Britt are both the best at TradFi. I mean, they've really opened my eyes to it. So much so that I'm pushing for Eddie to get his Series 7, which I think he's working on, and he'll be my new CPA. He'll be my new financial advisor. Anything that he says, I'm rocking with, and you can tell that just like you said that he called Robinhood early. He also called Circle early. He's really good and in tune with it. And Eddie, what he does, the brilliance between both Eddie and Britt, is these guys will look at a company's full financials. They will look at every detail report there is, how much money they have on the books, what new tech they have coming out. They'll fucking read through terms and conditions, bro, of certain shit just to see what it is. And that's something that rarely anybody ever fucking does. But if there's somebody that I want in my corner when it comes to dealing with the IRS or that comes to dealing with some money, it's somebody that's going to do that amount of due diligence. And I'm never kidding when I say that Eddie can have access to my seed phrase. He can have access to my social security number, whatever he needs. He can have access to. The second part of it is that I mean, Eddie also understands that I am a fucking degen. I got hacked. Whatever happened, but I'm still gonna be a degen. I'm still gonna get into shit coins. I'm still gonna be messing with meme coins. And shout out to my Dank family down there. Probably one of the most aggressive communities in the meme coin space, and also a sponsor of Not NFT NYC. But I'm saying all that to say is that to double down on your point is that you're right. This trio is great because it does intersect TradFi with DeFi, and Not NFT NYC itself has always kind of been that. And the example that I can give is that we've always kind of intersected between TradFi and DeFi when we've had different panels like how I lost it all, what's been my biggest win, when we talk about AI and things like that are those that are moving in markets that are traditional. And so yeah, I mean that's what we've been doing, and I just wanted to point that out. Is that these guys know what they're talking about in that area, and I think that we as a team have done a wonderful fucking job of blending these things together to the point where we're talking about how stable coins, something that's going to emerge in TradFi and as a DeFi, I don't know what you would call it, a DeFi. I don't know, Eddie.
Native to DeFi, but
Yeah, I
TradFi
mean,
is definitely.
DeFi taking
That's what I was
over.
looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Coinbase just made a bunch of announcements in the last 36, 48 hours or so. They are listing every token in DeFi. I don't know if you guys saw that news, but all tokens will soon be available on Coinbase to trade and sell on all chains. So like whatever token you're thinking, I wish they would list, they're about to list it. So lots of hype available there for Coinbase. They're dropping a credit card with 4% cash back in Bitcoin. They're dropping 4% interest on all USDC staked. And they just integrated all Shopify stores for USDC payments, global, 36 countries globally. So Shopify, the world's leading growing retailer and responsible for like 80% of transactions that happen are taking over. I mean, it's like the fastest growing storefront platform in the world, and that's going to be all baked in already. So it feels like it is here, and it is a super special time. It's awesome to know that you guys have been building towards this time and have had this vision for years. Same thing being at Rad. You know, I got into Bitcoin really early, and people thought I was a psychopath and an idiot for 6-7 years. They're like, this guy is crazy. Everything he talks about is conspiracy theory. Everything he thinks is like, he's talking about them printing money and that like money doesn't matter. He's crazy. And now all my banker friends don't think I'm so crazy anymore. Now they're asking the real questions about Bitcoin, and you guys have been throwing these events for 4 years. I don't know where you're stationed in the world. I know two of you are West Coast. Laura, I don't know where you're stationed, but I do know throwing an event in New York City is not easy. We've done it. Where are you, Laura?
Philly.
Okay. So, you know, Phil, you're not that far away, but we have thrown an event in New York City before for NOT NFT for NFT NYC, and it was very tough to schedule this. So I'm interested to know, how are you guys approaching this? I know you guys have Liz Mayha help working with you. I don't know if I said that correctly. I hope I did. And she'll forgive me, I hope, if I didn't say it correctly. But tell us about how are you even coordinating this? What is happening behind the scenes to get an event of this magnitude scheduled in the middle of Times Square?
Yeah, here I can actually take that one. What I would say is that the first thing is we've always been community driven. I mean, even from I can tell you with the first NOT NFT NYC that we did, we were kind of relying on a project, hoping that they would pitch in a little bit, because it was focused a lot around their members. And they didn't. And when we found out that they weren't going to, Eddie and Britt immediately jumped in and started rallying the community to get all kinds of donations for, it didn't matter what it was, a sticker, a pack of coffee, whatever it was, so that we could kind of make that happen. And through that, and through All of Us Radio, we would run into, and through, I'm going to say, NFT Philly, which is a huge conglomerate here in Philadelphia. We've got a lot of legends out here, but we got Hoarder in the building, who's also inside the audience now. But he was always a supporter as well. I mean, supporting us with in terms of IP. With the Red Legend, which is its own story and part of the lore. But he was showing up to our spaces long ago. And so when we threw the next one in New York, you know, he showed up right away, brought tons of bagels from Board Bagels, made sure that we had food and stuff at the event. And so, you know, we the way that we organize it is we let folks know that it's happening. We try to curate speakers that we think are going to make up awesome panelists, and try to create off the wall panel discussions is what we've done in the past. Things like AI is your new god, how I lost it all, which I mentioned before. Are you a degen?
Working in Web3 sucks.
Working in Web3 sucks was another one. And so coming up with off the wall titles that you wouldn't see at a normal conference, you know, to build that kind of thought amongst it, and to get people talking about it a little more. And then the second part is finding people who are going to be on those panels, right? And to find good speakers who are going to be able to talk this stuff in a way that people are going to understand. And then from there, it's leaning back again on the community, the folks like Hoarder down there with Board Trading Co. And at that time, it was just Board Bagels, and folks who probably. I'm sorry, NFT Hoarder is a big name in this space. So I'm not minimizing anything that he's doing, but there's a lot of other smaller creators who otherwise wouldn't have representation at a huge event like NFT NYC. And so this is a place where they can, by giving out stickers inside of our gift bags, by becoming a small sponsor and getting tons of promo and press and visualization on the timeline and beyond. We just made it so that it was a place that the smaller person could be seen, could be heard, could have their voice heard, could have their product demoed, And that's the way that we did that, and we've just kind of carried that on and built it to a bit of a science, to where we know what works, what doesn't, what's going to be engaging. We're always constantly thinking of new ways to engage people or to create activations, and constantly trying to allow people in a smaller space or with a smaller presence have a larger presence in this area where they can shine.
Let's go. So you guys have you guys been at this same location for a couple years, and it made it easy to schedule, and it's easy. We know where we're going. We know what we're doing. What type of coordination is there for like pack in and load up and stuff? You guys are working with other people, or you guys just all do this on your own?
Oh man. So at times it can be a logistical nightmare. To answer your first question, no. The past 3 years, they've all been held at different locations. A hole in the wall bar, as well as, like I said, then we do it to the theater, and then we went to the World Trade Center, and now we're going back to the theater. We're going back to the theater because we've learned some things, like having an appropriate space for people to talk, and to host the panels, that creates that environment. And we felt like the theater was the best way to do that, where you have a stage, you have seating, people know that they're coming to see speakers, and so it's not the place to be talking. It set the mood and the vibe the correct way. And we also want to expand what it is that we're doing. You know, we have Board Trading Co. inside of one room there. The next room, we're going to have Fuck It Productions, doing all kinds of art installations and activations. We're also going to have a DJ performing live, which we hope to be able to stream live to several different areas. And the coordination of it's to be honest with you, a logistics nightmare. However, Eddie and Britt, again, I got to hand it to them, have been amazing, and understand mailing and shipping and all those kinds of things. So a lot of it is mailing it directly to the venue, or mailing it directly to the hotel that you're staying at, or me coming up to go pick stuff up here locally and drive it out there. But that's what it is. It's a lot of USPS type stuff, and that's how you coordinate like the actual stuff, right? The things of the event, the giveaways, the banners, the anything that is a thing, the activations is. Some folks will bring it on their own. Some folks will have it shipped to us. Some folks will have it shipped to the hotel, and that's kind of how we've made that happen over the years.
Let's go. Anything you guys can tell us about the event itself? Any alpha that you can share? I know you've got you're gonna let people sell you their ape chain NFTs. You've got some comedians. Anything you could tell us about the guests you have, the panelists that are coming? You could even drop the item we're doing together if you'd like to say that. Maybe Tony's here; he'd like to come up and talk about that. But anything you could share about the guests and the events that'll be happening that day?
I was hoping. I guess Britt's not up here. I should see her as listener. I was going to let her take that one. Is Britt up here, Eddie? Are you gone, Eddie?
I still see it.
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Britt, do you want to take that? Do you want to take that question? You want me to take it? What do you want to do?
Sure, we have doors opening at around noon for some networking. We'll open the show. We'll have a few panels, some intermissions. We'll get a comedy show from Laughing Apes. We'll have an alcohol brand, Mutant Infusions, there. And then, of course, we'll have Rad TV premiere with Tony and the whole gang. So I'm very excited for that. Looks like, I don't know. I want to hear from you. What can we expect? What can we experience? What's on the agenda for that?
King Tony, I sent you an invite if you would like to come up. If not, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think something to touch on while Tony's coming up to the stage then is Lore said that one of the things we learned was just like finding a good place for speakers to speak, and was like we left that spot and we had a great venue at the Oculus at the World Trade Center, and it was awesome. It's at the Canvas 3.0, a lot of screens, a lot of it was very modern, you know, like a gallery. But you know, it was echoes. There was a clash of like the party you want to have when you're hanging out with your community, and it was clashed with the panelists, and it was too much because Laura actually was able to gather a lot of great speakers, but if you can't hear them or if they don't feel respected, then it draws back from what the whole point of the event was. So going back to the theater again, it's just everyone knows how to act when you're sitting in a comfy chair and you're looking at a stage and someone has the lights on them like that. Like that's just something. And then we have these other rooms though, so that you can obviously get away from that if you're not there for panelists or speakers and you just want to network. We have a lounge, a speakeasy. There's going to be a bar downstairs. So there's like a way that you can get into the panelist place, and then our intermissions, you'll be able to go out, explore real quick, grab your drink, come back to your seats between these intermissions and these breaks on stage. So, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. What Laura was saying was just, that was one of the real big lessons, but there's a few more in there as well. Like the logistics, like not being able to just pull up on the sidewalk and load your stuff in there. It was very difficult to get in that venue, and things like that when you're already coming from across the country is kind of wild for us. But yeah, just wanted to hit that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think last year was the hardest, like most iconic, but the hardest venue to work with, especially for people that weren't able to find the event. It was kind of confusing, but I wouldn't have given that up for anything. Like being at the Oculus is honestly insane. Being able to say, I threw a shot at the Oculus. So many people were able to show their art. Forbidden Fruit. We had so many artists. We had probably over 200 submissions of art last year on those moving screens that allowed independent artists, independent creatives to showcase their art in such an iconic space like the World Trade Center, like the Oculus. So that was really amazing to make that happen.
And it's only right that this place brings some entertainment. So Laura was able to curate Laughing Apes comedy show. So that'll be with Aaron Haber and friends, and we'll release the comedians that he's bringing soon. And then it's only right that we obviously have a production from Rad TV. We're obviously going to be off Broadway, so this just gives another notch under your guys' resume as well.
King Tony.
Hey, how's it going?
Made it.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a.
That's the voice of reason.
Call at the same time.
It's our CEO.
Man.
If you guys don't follow Tony, give him a hard time.
Reason, I don't know. I just learned how to be a good actor out here in the world, and so yeah, no, we are very excited for this event, and yeah, the premiere is I'll save some of the story for the stage, but we are very excited to get access to this content, and it had some delays, and we got it basically under wraps now, and promoting it. We're hoping that we can get some press right up before the event, and then do an in-person premiere of the first episode, and then kind of talk through it. Obviously, I think our goal is to reestablish the magic that was happening in kind of IP creation, storytelling, characters, community building, all at once, and the SEC was just kind of pouring water on it and scaring everybody out of the space. And that went from everybody from independent creators all the way up to major studios. And aggregating all of that content in one place is one thing, but showing real storytelling that's episodic, that maintains a story over multiple episodes, and you can latch on to the characters. There was a little bit of that with Stoner Cats, and like Deadheads did some of that. And, but the production level required couldn't be sustained by a lot of what was happening in like an NFT drop. You make $1 million on the NFT drop, and then I'm going to produce a full blown series and it's going to get on Netflix. Like, no, it's not actually. You're gonna blow through your money in one episode or two episodes, and then launch another token, and eventually you're just like a token launching factory, praying to keep making money so that you can make a few more episodes. And the interesting thing now is that AI has come in terms of production. Cost of production is coming way down. Production timelines are coming way down, and the studio model is changing pretty fundamentally just in the last 2 years. This is post NFT run, right? So we see a big opportunity in what we can do with episodic content and NFT IP, and you can still capture the community and build that in from the jump and build great characters and build great stories. But then the production of the content, the cost of production goes way down. So it's an exciting time to have a next run of what happens in the NFT space. And, collectibles might feel like a harder kind of push now, because the people saw that it's easy. You just run a script and you create 10,000 things and it just happens over and over and over again. It's harder to sell that now. The outcome of that is what you have to be able to sell. And so we're hoping that the premiere of this show is showing what the outcome of that actually is. Like, what is an ape and a doodle and a world of women? Like, what do they look like in a real show that's episodic and going over 5 to 6 weeks and go through a real like TV promotional cycle, like what a TV show launch would look like, and a windowing cycle. Like, okay, it's going to be premium on one platform first, and then it's going to go out to the free platforms 6 months later, and everybody can get access to it. And then you start to set a real template for the real industry of like what real outcomes look like using NFT IP and using modern tools and tech and community building and payments and royalties and splits, right? So that's where our head's at. We're excited to tell everybody at the event about it. We're, the whole, our New York team will be there, and we all got, we all have tickets, and we're pumped. So I'll DJ too if you need me to get on there. Like, I saw you guys talking about a DJ.
Oh, we've got to make that happen for sure.
Well, I told you guys he was the voice of reason. Did you hear all that? We're all talking about DJ stuff. All the DJs like, well, actually, it's got to be a very systematic approach. What we're going to do is we're going to roll this out very professionally. We're not going to allow you to DJs to keep minting these coins and chasing the dollar. We're going to be appropriate here. I told you guys, the voice of reason.
We'll do that shit in the basement, like after hours, like we'll.
I'm with it. Should I add a red carpet to the packing list for our premiere?
Maybe, or like a step and repeat, like a backdrop thing. We could get some paparazzi out there, and
let's make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we can coordinate that on offline. Could be fun though. Could be fun.
Thank you for sharing that, Tony. And yeah, I am very excited to see this roll out as well. It's, I think a lot of people will look at it and think like, it's coming out in 2025. But again, this production's been going on for a couple years, and Tony did a lot of work to kind of bring this back from the dead of, this was probably never going to see the light of day. And now we get a chance to show people what is possible. And where we are right now is kind of mind-blowing. And I want to talk to you guys about this as well, because you guys talk IP, you guys have your trait-based merch. You guys are really thinking about these things in the way that I think it was in the vein that we were all thinking about it 2021, 2022. And you guys have actually brought some products and businesses to fruition with that. You guys are partnering with people that have real world products. And I know you guys are going to have some of those at the event. Can you tell us about those things? I know, Laura, you mentioned coffee, but I know there's like there's snacks, there's drinks, there's beers, there's alcohol, like there's all kinds of stuff. Anything
Shout
you can
out
tell
to
us?
our sponsors.
Absolutely. Let's get some sponsor name drops in here and tell us about the physical goods that are kind of Web3 NFT related, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, Brittany makes the best gift bags. I'm gonna be honest. Like, let me just put that out there. Brittany curates the best gift bags, and she always has. She's like figured it out. I mean, I know she has some raffles and stuff planned, but she always has like there's just stuff that you would want at your conference or whatever, and she brings a real good touch to it with those. So, just wanted to put that out there for you, Britt, if you want to take that lob.
Appreciate you, Eddie. I want to say, you know who makes it really possible? Honestly, NFT Hoarder, because NFT Hoarder believed in us since day one. He was the first person to give us all of our donations and really just be like, hey, I have so much abundance. Let me pass some abundance to you because I believe in you guys. And that, I want to say, once you say you have NFT Hoarder on board, then it's like, oh yeah, of course I want my product displayed. Of course I want to share my IP. Of course this is the space that I want to use that in. So I want to say thank you to NFT Hoarder. Jason, you're a real one. But we have Board Bagels, Board Trading Co., French Chocolate, also Sailor Gary, Board Vodka. We have Laughing Ape. We have Liz Mejia with Bitcoin Radar. We have Dank Memes. We're going to have some wallet drops happening. We're going to have some check your wallet kind of moments. Eddie actually had a great addition this year. We'll be having some, oh, I don't know. Should we share it or do you want to keep that?
Yeah, there's a post on AUV.
Okay, yes. So we'll be having paper wallets. So they'll literally be bags of Bitcoin this year. So there'll be Bitcoin in the bags. Just, had to bring it back from like the old days. So I think that's pretty cool. But we have some really exciting activations planned this year. We have people showcasing their alcohol brands for the very first time. We have the Rad TV premiere. It's just a really great synergetic show this year. And I'm really excited.
Amazing.
Laura,
go ahead,
sorry. Laura, did we forget any sponsors? I don't want no one on you in the DMs, bro.
There's tons of sponsors. Shout out Bitcoin Radar, Fuck It Productions, Rich Rose Coffee, MetaBetties, Laughing Ape, Board Trading Co., Let Me Buy Your Ape Chain NFTs, DJ Doses, All of Us Radio, Not NFT NYC. Shout out Ernest Lee who bought a VIP ticket. There's just tons of people that are involved. Shout out JC Snacks. Shout out to everyone who is putting something in our bags. There's so many different people to thank, really.
And all of our sponsors do get an insert in every bag, and they do get a placement for our flyers. So if you have IP that you'd like to share, definitely tap in. It's not too late, and you'll get your bag insert and all that good stuff.
Amazing. I almost guarantee Tony ends up DJing, or at least with the DJ. I guarantee it.
I think that's a must. We have to make that happen. Absolutely.
Tony's like, hey, do you need a restroom break, bro? Do you need a restroom break?
Yo, when are you gonna let me on? No, if you guys just tell me what the setup is, then I can maybe try to prepare accordingly. I do not want to disrupt the flow, and I will be commingling and talking. So, we don't need to set aside any time. But if I know what the setup is, that I could slip in there during a bathroom break or something. But we'll see.
Well, thankfully this year we're going to have it really closed off for the panelists in the theater, and then we'll have a full, complete networking room with Board Trading Co. Then we'll have another networking room with the Fuck It Productions and the DJ. People will be dancing, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I don't think we have to worry about disrupting this, like the flow of the show as we did last year, because it did get quite disruptive at some moments.
It's hard. It's harder than people think to throw a big event like that, because we threw one a couple years ago. We rented out a sick nightclub, and it was, people from all over the world are coming to the event. People are flying in from all over the country, and then you're in a club, and there are moments where you want to be in the club, and then there's moments where you don't want to be in the club to do the things you want to do for an event. So it's really cool that you guys have been doing this for 4 years and have kind of worked out the logistics of the best way for these different compartmentalized or siloed pieces to take place, so that you don't have to scream, you don't have to be the meme of screaming into the person's ear at the club trying to explain to them whatever your thing is. NFTs, screaming about Web3 into your ear. I'd be interested to know, you have this flagship event, and of course that's the thing that stands out. And I bet, it's probably one of the things you guys are most proud of each year you get to grow this event, bring the community together. You're shaking hands in person, and that's such a big deal in the space. I've met so many of my best friends in the world through crypto, and then meeting them in real life, and you're like, oh, we've known each other for 10 lifetimes. How? Of course we met through crypto, and it took us the internet to do this. I'm wondering if there are a couple other things that stand out to you? Any of you answer this question, that are like big moments that you're proud of for All of Us Radio or Not NFT NYC. Either a moment at the past events or somebody you interviewed or something that really was inspirational to you guys over the past 4.5 years.
I want to say Alex Finn, NFT hoarder. I want to say Lore really did an amazing job seeing the talent early and giving him a platform. I have this iconic photo that I absolutely love of Lore, myself, Eddie, NFT hoarder in a dive bar in NFT God in a dive bar, doing the first episode of our live show, doing the very first Not NFT NYC. And what was that, 2021, I believe? Maybe 2022. But it was like the very first time that we met him in person. And then he became this huge internet personality. And he really rocked with All of Us Radio since day one. And he's been at every single event. So he's been at the past three. He won't be here this year because he moved to the West Coast. But I would say that's one that I'm pretty proud of. Like, we're just a random radio show on Spaces, and he's been rocking with us the long way.
Oh, was I supposed to jump in, guys?
You had your hand up. I was waiting
no,
on you.
I would just echo her sentiment. It was finding relationships with guys like NFT God, NFT Hoarder, Rad TV. Shoot, like even Pog Digital. I remember Lore got them on a space really early. Like there's so many early projects that Lore was able to get relationships with people, and that's the thing is like you can throw a space up and it's like everyone can attend and set you might have 20 people up in there, but when you've done this so many days and like years out, you've gained so much relationships that a place like Not NFT NYC is where all these communities can kind of come together and you can literally form a real business relationship or whatever. But yeah, I think that's just something that I've really taken away was like a lot of people have blown up in this space since we've met them too. And I think that it's just humbling to see like where you can get to from just creating content every day. And yeah, and obviously we have bigger aspirations, but the highlight would just be having this event. Honestly, that's the one thing that ties it all together where we're like, oh yeah, like it makes sense. People who are in different communities all show up to this event. You listen from speakers you want to hear from, contrast to what, and I don't know disrespect to the real event because we obviously throw this event because NFT NYC is thrown, but when that ticket is $300 and a lot of people can't afford that. And there's a lot of communities that get left out, like Laura said. So yeah, the highlight is really having this event where everything that we talk about and we do just comes together. And Laura's been talking about IP a long time. That was the first thing he was talking about when he grabbed an NFT. He was like, oh, you can just put this on your coffee and you can do this on the mug and you can sell things and it creates entrepreneurs like as soon as you've touched some of this IP. And yeah, I just think all of that comes together in this event because it's all there. It's literally our crypto world just in real life. So yeah, that would be my biggest highlight.
Laura, anything to add?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think that they covered it. I think Not NFT NYC really encompasses the degen style. I think that what it does is it brings people that may not have the means for a $400 ticket to come and have a $400 experience for a $20 price tag. And I think that they get a lot more out of that than they would at the real NFT NYC. Again, we love them. We're glad that it exists because it allows us to exist, right? And no hate towards them, but I just think that this is a way for people to network, to get their artwork seen, to get their IP scene to get their idea out there. I think it's a great opportunity to meet new people, to build new connections at a very, I don't know, cost efficient way, and in a way that's fun and that is not traditional, and it is a little bit out there. But let's be honest, everybody in Web3 is a little out there, and so I just feel like it's a perfect experience. And I think this year we're doing a great job of molding or blending rather the TradFi and DeFi. And again, super thankful for Board Trading Co, but even more thankful for my team, for Eddie and Britt, who have really just kind of like, I said, hey, I have a torch, and they just lit that motherfucker on fire, and we're like, cool, let's run with this then. And so shout out to them for helping bring it to life. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for the AOU community. I'm thankful for the NOT NFT NYC community that shows up all the time. And I'm thankful to everybody, including Hoarder, everybody who has helped sponsor or make this thing become a reality. So that's where I'm at with that.
Let's go. Awesome energy. I am very excited for this event. And, we're talking about IP. The show we're dropping, The Real Metaverse, has 5 flagship NFTs in it. It's got a Bored Ape, it's got a World of Women, a Doodle, a Cool Cat, and a Roboto. And we love this idea of being able to generate content and IP with the characters that we know and love from this metaverse space that we've built, identities around, brands around, communities around. And I'm interested to know what you all think of the future of IP as it relates to Web3. Are you looking at AI tools at the moment? Are you experimenting? Is your brain going wild the way other creators are in the space of thinking what's possible and what's next? And have you guys considered creating any content with the IP that you control from the Web3 space?
Laura, we're ready for your cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I would love to. Could you repeat the question really quick? I was looking at something on the back end. I was working diligently behind the scenes.
No, just if you've experimented with any of the AI tools, and have you given thought to what it would look like for you to bring your ape to life, or start creating content with your ape as yourself, or a different. Your name is Lord. I anticipate you probably have some storytelling prowess, or even some stories that you've been working on and would like to share with the world.
All right, bro. So the funny thing about this question at this moment in time, and literally right as you were asking it, okay, I'm going full fucking honesty here. For months, I have been working on a project, and it's gone through different iterations of names and different things like that. But I settled on the name Bops. All right, and each Bop, what it is the GTA inspired. Yeah, Bops. There's 3,045 of them. 3045. Each one starts off with a perfect score of 304, and then they're deducted points for things like being a baby mama, for being on probation, for having an OnlyFans. There's a whole bunch of different ways that they're deducted points, but they gain points too. They gain points if they don't collect child support and things like that. My goal was to make them to be their own unique AI personalities based on the traits that they had, and I was working steadily towards that. Interviewing different companies that would be able to make this a possibility. And then yesterday I got hacked, and so all of the funds that I was going to use towards that AI model are gone. They are completely gone. And so I'm just sitting here wallowing in my tears, and I'm like, well, I got some funny looking art. So maybe we'll release that. And then just now, I swear to God, just as you asked that question, somebody DM'd me and was like, I have an agent. I could probably do some of this for free in 2 to 3 days. So I don't want to. So your question is, have you thought about the question? The answer is, I've done more than thought about. I've been trying to integrate and develop and build around it in a funny lore type of way, and that's where I'm at. And so right now, just as you asked that question, I got that confirmation. So it was just odd timing for me to hear that.
Serendipitous,
Lord,
right on
let me
time.
tell you though, we want to hear about the ape, bro. Are you doing anything with that ape?
What do we do? What do we do with the? That's an idea to kick around, bro. What do we do with the ape? I mean, it's known for chaos and mayhem. It would be honest to have. It would be honestly cool to have like a chaos agent, an agent of chaos. So creating it in some way that it could be an AI agent that is just meant for chaos would rule.
We need
But I have not.
episodic chaos. We need it every season. We need to roll out something fun with Rad.
Let's fucking do it. If you've got an idea, if you tell me. I'm on board for almost everything. Shout out JC Snacks, by the way. You're definitely going to catch them. Not
Legend.
AI, but IRL inside your bags.
And honestly, I wish we played more with the with like video AI with like Lore's IP. To be honest, I think a lot of our stuff is just like making everything that we already do just more efficient. Like even the website, not NFT NYC.xyz, was all built on AI. It was just like all prompts and stuff via Spawn. By the way, that's the coolest AI for me. It's better than vibe coding. It's Spawn coding, so it's a little different. But yeah, we most of the stuff that we do is just to help the efficiency. I know Brittany's been doing like all her lists and all her she's been doing all the graphics and background stuff for us to all stay up to date on what's going on. So yeah, I mean, overall I think Lore could probably develop something on this ape, especially with all the stories. Like people always say, oh, you guys have so much work, you guys are always a side event in New York, and there's already kind of like a lore that Lore started. But it's funny when you think about his storytelling, it goes way back to when he first bought his NFT, his first NFT, which was the V friend. And so he would just go in there and make chaotic stories and kind of stir it up. And I think we've channeled that into a lot of the media commercials that we do now. So a lot of the storylines and outlines and sponsorships that we talk about, they're all curated from Lord's brain, and he brings us a crazy script, and we kind of recite it. Sometimes we do it live, sometimes we do it private, depending on how it goes. But then he does all the editing in the background, and yeah, we make fun of it. We make it fun to do it. Usually setting a couple hours aside, but that's like the most production of storytelling that we kind of get off at AOU. And I don't know if Lore has any handy, but he has made some tremendous ones that it lifts the entertainment and the production of the show, and it creates an audio experience, to say the least.
Which one will you allow me to play? That's the bigger question. Which one is it?
You can play whatever you want here. We have no rules.
No. I'm not asking you, Rad. Not asking you.
No offense, but not the board bagels one today.
All right.
We need to re-record the board bagels one.
All right, I got the perfect one. This is one of the first ones that we did. I'm not at my rig, but we'll see if you can hear it. Let me turn the volume all the way up. Let's be honest. You look like a fucking bum. It's because of those socks. They're dirty, they're holy, and you've been wearing them for a year now. Look at you. Do you even have any dignity? Now look at Eddie. Eddie's full of dignity because he wears Trade Merch socks. Trade Merch gives Eddie the confidence to walk into that board meeting knowing he's the smoothest motherfucker in the room. With 2 collections already released and several pairs of socks shipped all over the continental United States, Eddie is able to wear his Trade Merch with confidence, knowing that his socks are baller as fuck and has already been completely logged on the blockchain. Be like Eddie. Get your dignity back and the ability to look your wife in the eye and say, damn it, Martha, I'm not a little boy. I'm a fucking man. Be a man. Or an extremely elegant woman with great taste and get Trade Merch today. Your feet will thank you, and your significant other won't be so embarrassed to take you out in public. Find them on Twitter at Trade Merch. Trade Merch. Protect your feet from rugs. So that's
Incredible.
Lord
that's
just took us in the way back machine.
I did. So that's that. Yeah, man. That's one of many ads that we have done. I mean, we just have so many ads.
Incredible. I love the ads. I I love you guys' radio show, and I think I've told you this for literal years. You guys know I'm not bullshitting. I've been telling you guys for years. It's one of my favorite shows on X. I tune in to listen to you all, not for any other reason. Not to I like listening to you all, and you're fun. Your energy's crazy. I'm interested to know. You've done this event. You're going 4 years now. This is by far the most dynamic year to year event change in crypto, maybe ever. Like the administration change, the SEC changing its focus and path that it's going down for crypto. I'm interested to know if you guys have a different energy going into this year or if it feels similar. And maybe what are the biggest changes you've seen around the Web3 space, particularly this year, being in it so hard for 4 years? What's the biggest change you've seen since the administration change and like the energy has shifted around crypto for traditional economy thought leaders?
So I want to take this, and I'm going to let Eddie and Britt jump in as well if they'd like to. What I would say is that we are noticing changes, and we've changed as well with AOU in the sense that we were usually doing traditional spaces like this one, and since things have evolved and things have changed, we've talked about even on the show how we've changed up our model, and now we do a space once a week, regular space once a week, but we've also transition to a live stream, which happens on Thursday. And we notice that again, we keep talking about this intersection between crypto and TradFi. And we've incorporated that a lot in our live stream as well. And if you haven't, we recommend you check that out. We talk about the news. I usually try to throw in a couple funny clips that go along with whatever the discussion is. Sometimes Eddie loves them, sometimes he hates them, and so there's that portion of it. The second part is that with the way that the market is moving, and I would say not only the crypto market, but the political movement and all of that. My opinion is that we are in an age of techno feudalism where we are seeing we're seeing big tech as a whole consolidate power. We are seeing our governments consolidate power. We are seeing DAOs consolidate power, as you can see with the ApeCoin DAO itself, and that is the movement that's happening. But we're also seeing that intersection, and I think Eddie and Britt were early to call it that it is going to be a stablecoin summer. Once they said that, and I mean they said this a month ago. It's today is when I noticed that somebody on their space was talking straight up stable coins, and so I think that we were very early. I think that you're still early now, and I think that you can see the change happening in the tech here in Web3. I think you can see the change happening in the tech in TradFi, and I think that that's trickling down to the spaces and entertainment and content that you're creating. And it's definitely something that you're going to see at NOT NFT NYC. So that's kind of my view on it. And I'm going to let Eddie and Britt take it over and see what they have to say about it.
Yeah, I think this is just the most exciting year. Everything we have, Gary Gensler is gone. We have NFTs are collectibles, not securities. We have tokens are collectibles, not securities. We have, we just have so much going on that is, we were early, and sometimes being too early is the same as being wrong. But right now, if you're here, this is the time. And I feel like we weren't too excited. We were like, okay, we might do the show this year, what's going to happen. And then as soon as January hit, it was like, oh, we have to do NOT NFT NYC. This is our time. This is our time to shine. Also, I do want to mention, we called Stablecoin Summer right when Kraken and Robinhood announced that they were going to join Paxos in the US Dollar Global Network. So it's been a few months now, but I'm happy the timeline is hearing it. It feels good. So we'll definitely be doing a panel. We have Laura, Eddie, and Britt opening the show, and then we have Eddie kicking us off with a stablecoin summer panel. So all RWAs, stablecoins, everything and the like. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, I just this is just a really good time. I feel like that we're early type of sentiment still exists for crypto users. If you're looking at the whole market as a whole thing, it's like right now there's so like Coinbase just got into the S&P 500. Robinhood is there was rumors they were going to get into this last one. They're
will.
destined to get in sooner or later, which means there'll be two companies in the top 500 of America's companies to be like crypto based. And I just you're looking at Coinbase released this card. I've been talking about a recent stock called Fold App, which is more of Bitcoin native.
Oh, I didn't know they IPO'd.
I bought an IPO as well. I'm down a little bit on my percentage, but I'm definitely chasing the stock. But it's a great time to buy. Yeah,
I was probably one of the
Did
first.
you get on Robinhood?
I didn't even know they IPO'd. I used Fold. I started using Fold in 2018 or 2017. Back when they rolled out, it had like 6 or 9% rewards, and then they were giving out. It was crazy. It was crazy. I think I probably gained from 18 to 21. I probably gained close to half a Bitcoin just bullshitting, waking up and hitting the spin button, and it's like, oh, you got 15 free spins. See what you got. I remember I went to the grocery store in Kroger's one day. I won like $300 after a $400 purchase. Walking out of the store, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. It was like 2020. It was a mid COVID. And I was like, this is a crazy time to be alive. I can just open up this app and roll the dice to win Bitcoin. And I cannot believe they IPO'd. They were originally, I'm from Ohio, and I'm in Ohio currently, but they're based in Ohio, which was kind of a little plus for me, being from here. I'm a big fan of the small bank doing the
Will
cool thing.
Reeves seems like an Ohio kind of guy. But that's interesting. I didn't know we had a Bitcoin fundamentalist on stage here.
Oh, I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin 2012. I first started getting Bitcoin in 2012, and I was getting my real estate license, and I was trading Bitcoin at my first Bitcoin purchase like $2.25 per coin. And
Legend.
I was sitting in class. I mean, I tell the stories now. It's one thing. This is a financial advice. We'll get right back on the biggest changes of the year. I'll go back to the question. I'm not going to forget what we are, but I think talking to people that care about finance. One of the biggest things that stood out to me, my crypto journey so far, is it's one thing to have conviction. It is a very separate thing to be able to afford your conviction at the level that you think your conviction is. And those are two separate funnels, and you need to think about what you can afford conviction wise and where your conviction is, and finding that balance will really set you up for success in ways that you couldn't have planned, because over investing or investing money that you can't afford to lose is going to take you out of the game, and being at the table to play the game is 99% of the battle. And I just love Ed and Britt, you guys' whole energy of investing in yourself, making small investments. Eddie's always that. Eddie does the risk plays. He's always talking hedging, and he's always talking like squeezing the most juice out of the fruit that's available, whether that's IRA matches and things like that. I just think it's really valuable. And again, shout out to you guys. So back to the question.
Wait.
Go ahead.
We were talking about Fold, bro, and you said
Yeah.
you were just doing the spins, bro. I did
Yeah.
this 4 years ago as well. So
Yep.
I was just one of the people waking up, collecting stacking some sats as well.
Yep.
And I opened it up, and it was 1,000% increase.
Yep.
I forgot about the app, bro. And they took the sats back. To be honest, they were like, "Hey, you haven't been active for 3 years or something."
Yep.
So I just emailed them. I said, "Hey, sorry, I'm going to be active again. Can I have these sats back?" They gave it back.
Wow.
And then I was like, wow, this is cool. So I started looking at them. I was like, oh, they this is the Brittany invested in, and she was down on. So I went back and I looked at it. And this is where crypto gives you that edge. It gives you that like, oh, I know something that they don't know. And so I go look at their balance sheet, and I see they have almost 1,500 Bitcoins. And they're trading at this time, they're trading at about 200 million market cap. So I'm like, that's like a $50 million
Jeez,
difference.
they were at
And I'm just
200
like,
million
they
market cap. I'm looking right
like,
now.
you're still there's a lot to get out of there, even if you're just value investing, right? Like, we're not even thinking about Bitcoin. We're just thinking about what this company's worth. And literally, Bitcoin goes up 5K or something, and it's like their assets grow like whatever 15 million or something like that. And it's crazy because once I seen that, I was like, oh, I got to start buying into this company. We're doing all the research. Look, we've literally watched every Will Reeves interview that's happened in the last 3 years. And this is something that any crypto person can kind of understand, whether you're a Bitcoin maxi or you like it to save, or you just know that it's a supreme asset. Whatever your take is on Bitcoin, you know that the alpha that comes in between of like, well, these people are trading at a low market cap and they have so much value on their balance sheet because you understand Bitcoin and how it moves. It's just a tremendous opportunity that a Wall Street person doesn't see. They don't even read that. They see, hey, this is not profitable yet. These guys are spending too much money.
Right.
They're not growing at a faster rate that they're blowing the money, but they're literally stacking sats and they have a real business. This isn't MicroStrategy where they lost their software business, so they pivot to like a Bitcoin treasury.
Crazy.
This is a different
Do you see
game.
what I'm saying?
Because it's a good tool for Bitcoin, but yeah, just it gets me so hyped and passionate, just like you're saying, Rad, to be like, yeah, we had to stop and pivot on that full thing.
You said 15.
Do you see what hold on real quick. Do you see what I'm saying where I say that this kid fucking looks at like every report that's on about these guys, every balance sheet, what is it that they have in assets? What, you know what I mean? That's how detailed he is when it comes to his investments and what he's looking at. So he's a fucking phenom. The Eddie and Britt both, they know exactly what they're looking at when it comes to TradFi, and they understand it. And they just have their fingers to the pulse on it, and they're the ones that have me bullish on TradFi. It's not TradFi is so slow and stuff like that, but these guys have me bullish on it. Look, I've never been excited about the S&P 500. They have me sitting down watching the new report coming out like it's the NFL draft. Like, all right, who's getting booted? Who are the new players that are getting onboarded? That's how stoked I was about it. We're having fucking parties about quarterly reports. Do you understand the level that that we're at now? It's just it's a different world that we live in, man.
Amen. It is a different world that we live in. And I think that's, it's a testament to you guys sticking around and being consistent and showing up every day and really having the conviction and the affordability to have the presence showing up every day. It's one thing just to have money. It's another thing to show up and get the value of information asymmetry, and then use that with whatever resources you have to apply it to your future. And this time, you're talking about this company has, I think you said 1,500 Bitcoins. Is that right, Eddie?
Yes, it's actually 1490 to be exact.
This guy, their price to earnings ratio, their PE ratio is negative 2.5. So this is as undervalued of a company as it could be that I ever look at, and
they know what they're doing, bro. And I'm looking
at
gift cards, and I'm like, oh my god, how many times do I waste gift cards on like my nieces, my nephews, my sisters, and they're doing the Bitcoin gift card. You're gonna walk into the Target and you're gonna see a big orange card that has a B on it. How excited are you gonna be? One, and how easy is it for like the consumers to be like, I know how to use this. Like, you get gifted that Bitcoin, they're gonna understand how to use it, and then there's no change to how the retailers operate because they deal with gift cards all the time. So it's just another gift card to them to put on the shelf. So this is going to be the craziest point of sale rollout when we see it. And I'm super excited. I already bought some on the website and it went super well, redeemed it. It was easy. And I know when the cards come, it's going to be just the same. But I'm still doing some research. To be honest, I only own 200 shares right now. My goal is to get to 200 by the end of the day, and I did. And so I'll still be stacking a position in there. I need an option chain to roll out.
If it was, I went to options. They had options. I'd be caking it all the way to 2027 right now. I'd be in there.
That's what I'm saying. And like, people don't even understand how the degen plays that you did with a good percent of, let's just say you use 1% of your portfolio value and you put it into some meme coins, and it was like almost almost 100% going to Havala, or it was 100% going to zero.
Yep.
And so these are not those same chances because the business is there. So there's always there's some fundamentals to kind of fall back on if you need, if you need some sort of reassurance where putting your money is. But super exciting time.
You guys talking about like this transition, and I'll tell you something that's in my personal life. My mother-in-law, she was just talking about managing money, and she was going to meet with her money manager in her hometown, and she was asking me some questions, and she's like, "Hey, can you look over this stuff with me?" And she's like, I'm nervous. She wanted to buy a new car. She's like, I'm kind of nervous to buy a new car. Like, I just don't know about my income and stuff. I was like, what are you worried about? Like, you're fine. Everything in your life is fine. What are you worried about? So she starts showing me things. And the reason she's worried is because her and her husband went to the bank they were going to buy he's buying like a riding lawnmower, and he needed like $4,000 cash or something. He went to the bank to get $4,000 cash at a local bank here, and they wouldn't give it to him. And he's 67 years old, and he's freaking out. You know, he's literally cussing at the bank teller, and like, what are you talking about? I can't get $4,000. Like, we don't have that kind of cash to just be giving out. You have to call us and let us know. And he's like, it's $4,000. This is no money. This is not a lot of money. This is $4,000. I can't buy a lawnmower. And they're like, no, you can't. So he's losing his mind. It takes them 30 minutes to approve him getting this money out of the bank. And they eventually do it. But this changed their thought on banking. So she starts asking me questions. And I was like, are you not like managing anything on your own? She's like, no. And I was like, transfer. I just had her transfer $1,000 and sign up for Robinhood. After she signed up for Robinhood for $1,000, I showed her how to move around Robinhood. I opened up my Robinhood account, and she was like, well, what if I need to access this money? Like, how quickly can I access it? And I opened up my Robinhood, and I showed her how fast I could turn on margin and how fast I could take a loan on my assets. And she's like, wait a second. You can just take a loan on those assets and I don't have to sell anything? I was like, no, you should never be selling these assets. What are you talking about? And she had never been told. She's almost 70. She had never been told this before. She had never considered the game theory of money and the way these games are being played out here. And I'm trying to explain to her. I did the, you guys have probably seen the video where there's 3 or 4 people sitting down, and one guy says, oh, hey, you owe me $10. So the guy takes 10. He's like, oh, yeah, I did owe you $10. And he hands it to the guy. And then the guy next to him says, oh, you owed me $10. And he's like, oh, you're right. So he hands him back $10. And then the guy at the end's like, oh, but you owed me $10. So he hands it back, and now they just paid off $30 in debts with the same $10 bill, just passing it around. I was like, this is how all money works. And she was so blown away. She was like, wait a second. She was like, you're telling me she's like, I have a money market account at Huntington Bank with X amount of dollars in it. I could transfer it all over to Robinhood, invest it myself, and if I ever want to borrow against it, I just click these couple buttons and I can take out. I was like, you don't even have to take out. You could just get a debit card and go shopping. You don't have to take anything out. It's just on the debit card. And she could not believe the ease of access for this money. She immediately closed her account at Huntington Bank, took all the money out, and moved it all to Robinhood. That's how fast, I say boomer in the best meaning. I don't mean it to be mean, but a boomer generation will change their mind on financial products. They just need to be shown by somebody that they trust, that they care about, that's not being a lie to them. And I think that's what you guys are bringing to the table.
I'm your mom. I'm your mom, and Eddie and Britt are you.
I love that you say that because I come from a traditional investing family, so everybody invests traditionally, but these no brick and mortar brokerages, not for them. I'm grateful that my mom is actually, she's a Bitcoin maxi. She's in the trenches with us. She actually got her bag in Circle IPO. She got her shares allotted. And she got all that on margin.
Amen.
So showing these boomers what they're capable of. My mom was like, "Oh, it's free. It's free money."
Yeah, she's printing. She's 4x on free money.
If it's under $1,000 right now on Robinhood, if you're a gold member, then it's zero interest at all. So I put that limit at $999. She bought on margin, and yeah, she's loving it. So it's little moments like that will really onboard somebody to a brokerage. Like, whoa, I can never leave this. This is actually amazing.
Do you guys see what Coinbase rolled out? I didn't mention it earlier in the list of things that I mentioned, but Coinbase just rolled out immediate, no approval, $1 million loans for Bitcoin backed loans. So this is available right now on Coinbase. You can log into Coinbase. You can lock your Bitcoin up to $1 million, and they will give you a loan for 1 million USDC in your account right now. Don't talk to anybody. No
You know what's
approval.
crazy? We all, if you've been in crypto early, the Alex Mashinsky Celsius, this is when I say if you made it through, like this is what we were promised. These kinds of, I don't know, access
The
to this
never
kind
sell
of
your
immediate
Bitcoin.
liquidity.
Yep.
Yeah, never sell your Bitcoin, of course. But if you want crypto banking, if you want collateralized banking on crypto, that's, I mean, this is what we were promised. But with the FDIC, with insurance like Robinhood has FDIC, SIPC insurance. They have their 14 different charter banks. So there's actual protection for the consumer now. That's where the whole thing went wrong. There was no legalese. There was nothing like definite. And now we have we have crypto czar. We have things that are making it so that, hey, we can actually invest in this and engage in this with some kind of safety guardrails. So it's an exciting time. That's wild.
I'm excited for this credit card too. The one thing that sticks out to me is that this is going to not only upset like credit card companies. They are partnering with Amex, I believe, so they're like already doing some real big stuff. But when you like take a look at it, a lot of the airlines like survive off these credit card like they're airline companies in disguise.
Oh yeah.
And so when you see these crypto companies getting into credit cards, we see Robinhood, Fold, PayPal, Coinbase, everyone is dropping these credit cards, and they give you not useless points. So when you think about it, people often don't save any money anyways. They don't really invest a lot. And that's true for a lot of Americans. But when it comes to their credit card points and stuff, it's often counted as one of their savings. You know, they're saving towards their vacation. They're saving towards some time off. They're really they've gamified it in a way that this has become an intricate part of the savings account for people. And when you replace that useless reward point that can be inflated to whatever, you know, I was telling Laura the other day, you save 20,000 for an air flight, and then you go buy the air flight, and then they're like, oh, sorry, this flight's 28,000 points instead. And they move the needle, and then every year they can take away 60% of the value that they gave you in these points if you're not using them immediately. And they replace this useless fiat derivative with Bitcoin, and the most rarest asset in the world. So you start looking at these credit cards and you're like, holy crap, like now I can game the fiat system, because that's what everybody else was doing already. That's what the banks are doing. That's what everyone, if you're not generating the yield, then you're the deal, you know? And so, yeah, I really like that Coinbase has jumped into that world. It's going to onboard a lot of people. I know they've done like their membership as well, which is something that like everybody's trying to do, some sort of subscription to their service. And the only way to really entice someone onto your service is to give them a whole bunch of perks. So let's say you're a credit card holder. Well, you pay the credit card membership. Let's entice you to all the perks that are on our platform. And I can see that being copied and pasted. So,
I'd gladly pay probably $500 if it's, you know, what is it, $30 a month? I'd probably pay $500 credit card fee a year if it was meaningful. You know, I pay that for another Amex card anyway. Depends on what the value is and what value they're bringing to the table. And I just love that these financial products are rolling out. I'm interested to know what are you guys looking at right now as far as like the next catalyst? Laura, Brittany, Eddie, what's the next thing? Like it seems like we have everything. What are you guys looking for right now? Whether it's finance, whether it's Web3 related, what's the next moment for you that's meaningful vision wise?
Getting my money back from Coinbase.
Good luck, pal. Coinbase is the worst. The worst customer service. I love Coinbase for what they bring. I love Coinbase for the ramps that they are. But when it comes to customer service, it's tough. It's one of the toughest customer service processes I've ever dealt with, no doubt.
I think I'm most excited for Bitcoin banking, stablecoin summer. and really yielding stables, the US Dollar Global Network rolling out, all of these institutions that we've all been, MakerDAO, Kraken, Robinhood, Arbitrum, so many that are partnering to create a yielding network where every time you make a move, because you're growing the platform as if you were contributing to an LLM, you are getting paid for that in a yielding sense. So I am really excited for that to happen. And I think that once that happens, we will have we'll have the Genius Act fully actualized, we'll have the Stablecoin Act fully actualized, and we'll actually be seeing some type of, I don't know. I feel like this might save the dollar, honestly. Call me naive, but I feel like we've had the lowest dollar since 2022 just this month. And that's really not great with all these tensions going
Sure.
around globally, geopolitically right now. I feel like stablecoins could save and remain to keep the US dollar, the reserve currency.
I love that you bring that up. And I also add, talking about Robinhood, what you guys are talking about, it's interesting that Robinhood's talking with President Trump about the $1,000 stock market savings for all babies born between him coming into office and leaving. And I think that's if Robinhood were to gain a contract like that, it's massive. And also brings up the question, like, why in the hell has the United States been doing this forever? And
it only makes sense. It's like your birthright. It's your duty as a citizen. The same way it's your duty to vote. It's your duty to invest in the S&P 500.
I totally agree. And what's messed up is that the government actually applies a debt value to every baby born. And this is so the interesting thing, and I know you had your hand up, Ed, about like these markets is I don't think people really understand that people are the money. So like we have to print money if we're printing people because there's value added. If you're not doing that, then it literally does become a 99% of the wealth is going to be owned by the 1% forever. The only way to combat that is to make sure that Junior coming out right now and little Mrs. coming out right now has $1 million of compounded money at the time they're 20 years old or whatever, whenever it unlocks 18, like even just at the lowest levels of the dumbest investment, you're talking like $150,000. And that strengthens our economy. It strengthens our education system. It strengthens the financial fundamental education that every American will have because they have an incentive to actually know what these words in this lexicon mean. They'll be looking at their charts and their accounts in third grade instead of their third year of college or whatever it is. Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
No, yeah, I want to add on to that too. The sentiment around that would change the world so much because, like, I think a lot of people feel like, and I've been posting about this since 2024 because everyone's like my immediate circle, no one even knows what the S&P 500 was. So I was like really trying to educate my friends and my family on it. But when you're like looking at how everyone looks at the world, they don't feel like they're benefiting as much as America is benefiting. So it's like America gets bigger, stronger, more powerful, and you don't feel that same way at home. There's a reason for that, and it's because you have no attachment to the economy, and you end up getting really bitter with tech, with future projects, with billionaires. Like it really bothers you to see stuff because you're not participating in the markets. And when you are participating in the markets, you can understand a little bit more. It's your skin in the game. I know people are going to be like, well, we're just going to be printing more money, which one, that's bullish for Bitcoin. But two, you have, like he said, every person is attached to this money. It's the Social Security. So when we run out of Social Security, because the old people will be bigger than the working class. When that happens, they're going to have to print and make that Social Security money anyway. So why not do it earlier and put it into something like this Invest America account that we're talking about? That is crazy because it's like it really sets you up from a kid to be like, I have a vested interest in this whole country and in the top companies that are here. And yes, those top 500 companies switches out all the time. But you will always, over your lifetime, while you keep that account, you will have a vested interest in America doing well. And there's never been that before, except for just live your life and be grateful that you can vote and be grateful for your freedoms and stuff. And I think that the financial tie to it will really incentivize people to act a certain way. Their vibe will be better. It's overall just better for the markets and the economy and the way we're running things right now. So yeah, just a little, it's such a small amount too. So,
I mean, $1,000 is nothing. if for the government to put away, I don't know what the total spend is for all babies born in the United States to do that for 4 years, but it's probably, nothing. Probably really nothing. I'm got another couple questions for you guys. We've got another 20 minutes or so. Laura, what's your thoughts on the current state of the ape ecosystem? I know they're going through a lot right now. We actually had a discussion about it this morning, both ape and Polygon. Not sharing too much information here, but we've been in discussions with both of them for the last several months. And while we were discussing the way forward with them, we look at ourselves as we deliver the most on-chain utility for media, and it's not even close. It's like there's no competition. We put all the chains on all the devices, including PlayStations, VR headsets. We're the only platform that allows an artist to come in, mint something, and then the collector can go display that on every device. The only platform. I know it sounds crazy, but we're literally the only platform. And this isn't trying to toot our own horn, but we feel that these chains are coming to look for real utility because they don't have any. And they're trying to find ways to add real value. And what they did initially was they set their organizations up as DAOs, and we considered this years ago, and we considered releasing a token and doing a DAO and doing management through a community. But the problem with that is that companies and organization structures and corporatocracy, corporate America, has literally evolved over thousands of years of human interaction to form a way for entities to maneuver in our markets and to do that sufficiently and efficiently. And it's been the smartest minds in the world continuously contributing to the way these things work. That's why there's governance laws. It's why there's the corporation, there's different types of corporations to set up. And we looked at them, they kind of thought they had a better way forward. We don't need to do that. We're going to do it with the community. And anybody can buy a share of stock and then go vote, but that board has to make decisions. It's not just the shareholders telling somebody what to do. It's like the electoral college. You get to go vote, but then there's another group that votes. Really, you kind of get to vote a little bit, but it's just a little bit to make you feel good. I'm interested to know, Lore, you've been in this ecosystem heavy. You've watched it all unfold. They're rolling everything back. All the promises they've made are null. What's your energy moving forward? And do you think this is good for the ecosystem? Is it a reset, or is this mistakes on mistakes? What's your energy right now?
I think there's lots of directions you can go in. And so the first thing that I'm going to say is that I believe that it was inevitable. Again, I'm going to go on until I'm breathless about that I think that we live in an age of techno-feudalism and an age of consolidation, and that this was inevitable. I don't think that there is the case that hey man, you can't just keep pouring money out and not getting money in, and everybody just kind of selling off the ape as they get it to run these businesses. So there's that portion. And I get that, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? There's certain things that I have questions about that I don't feel like I fully understand. Of course, I'm not that smart to be able to understand it. So I don't know if things like the banana bill are going to be in effect to where people are able to build directly that, or if they'll have to go directly to ApeCo to make that happen. Again, that's above my pay grade and my understanding as it stands now. But what I do think is that there's also still a lot of opportunity. I think that right now you're probably going to get Ape at a good price. I think that if you have ApeCo controlling it, they're only going to have one mission, and that's going to be to provide value. And so that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to have the biggest impact that they can. That hopefully number goes up. Right? They all want number to go up. So it's going to be spend as little as you can while providing the maximum amount of value. And I'm not against that at all either. And so, am I disappointed that my personal AIP isn't going through? Sure. Is it going to be something that's going to be better for the overall ecosystem? It might be. I mean, again, if that's your goal, number go up and providing maximum value in a few different verticals, I think that it'll be great. The last thing that I think is that when it comes to something like Rad TV, obviously you're not going to have a proposal to put forth. The AIP won't exist. It won't happen. However, if you're looking at partnering with Ape, I would recommend that you do it in a way similar to the way that Pogs has done it, where they have created a bridge between Pogs that was released on Solana, I believe, when it first came out, and they're finding a way to integrate with Ape. So I think that you have a strong base community through Bored Ape community members, myself included, and Ape Chain and Ape Coin holders, which exists. There's a huge community of people that you can be able to pitch to rally around, to have rally around you. And I think that the best bet for Rad TV is going to be to figure out how do you position yourself in a way that is similar to what Pogs has done. What does that partnership look like? What is it that Pogs is doing for Ape, and what is Ape doing for Pogs, and how do they benefit mutually from it? And I think that once you figure that out, then Ape Chain is 100% the place that you want to be. I think that I think that it is a chain that's going to grow. I think that there's going to be a lot of benefits. I think there's going to be a lot of innovation there, and I think that Rad would do very well in that arena. And that's my take on it.
Thank you for sharing that. We agree. We think we would add value anywhere, but we just don't need. We are a sustainable business as it is. So unless it's a major win for us, it's like what's it? Why? Why are we doing anything that's not immediate revenue to us? Because our business is going to continue growing, and that's we look at it as. We can't just integrate a chain. That's the kind of the conversations. It seems like everybody just wants pat on.
I think you're looking at it the wrong way. And I'm not here to tell you your business.
Well, there's no creators
that's
on.
not my place.
Where are the creators on Ape? Where are they posting their stuff right now? Where are they selling content right now? We're on Ape Chain.
And that's where I think there's two places I think you win, and I think it's onboarding new creators onto the Rad TV platform.
Right.
I think being able to release exclusive content that's ape related through Rad TV is it. But the biggest component that I think that you have is that the Ape Chain community is active AF. And so I think that where you have an opportunity right now is a couple different areas where you could possibly integrate ApeCoin into your payment system to get people. But I think that you're going to have a lot more viewers and you're going to have a lot more onboarding and a lot more people downloading your app if you were to partner with it, because they're just going to be Ape Chain curious and want to be a part of and support their fellow ape. And so I think that that's where, if I were to sell you on Ape Chain, I think that that's where it would be, is that you have an opportunity to reach a larger active audience who is most likely going to be willing to download your app and participate on a regular basis through viewership and through payment activity. That's my take.
I love that. And my next question is, after Ape Chain, I'm interested to know, all three of you, what are your guys' current state, thoughts of the state of all blockchains? Whether it's, I'm kind of applying this to the L2s. And right now at Rad, we don't support Solana, but over 90% of the transactions happen on blockchain happen on Solana. So that's 90. If you're thinking you're going to go to Base right now and get all of your viewership, they have 2% of the overall transactions happening. So you're taking your 100% from 2% of the activity happening on Base. Solana has all the activity happening. Most of these other chains, Sonium, that's Sony, Ape Chain, name one. They're Polygon. Polygon had 10,000 total users of transactions last month. In May for 30 days. And people don't really look at these numbers. So I am interested to know what you guys think of the current state of Ethereum. Where it is. We all see Base coming. And where do you see these L2s really getting their footing and finding purchase, because none of them have yet, other than maybe Base. Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Oh, go ahead, Britt. I'll go after her.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, Solano is definitely where the casino lives, and the casino seems to be a little bit closed up right now. So for ETH, there's so many L2s. I think that we need to focus on ETH, the ecosystem. We need to get ETH, the asset, back to 4K and focus on the ecosystem of ETH, the chain of ETH itself. And I don't think we need all of these L2s. I think that it's a way to extract a little bit from the ecosystem. But if you listen to the most recent, not the most recent, maybe Bankless 2 weeks back, ETH the asset or ETH the chain, that's such great insight into what's actually going on in the ETH ecosystem right now. But I think stable coins will genuinely save ETH. I don't think all of these L2s and these different projects, and I do love the info fi. I do love the kind of the farm fi with like interactions online. I think that's a great way to get paid and to grow community. But other than that, I'm not really messing with it.
Yeah, and damn, just to add to her, she stole my line. I was gonna say stable coins are definitely bringing back ETH in a way that we don't know yet. But I think a lot of it will be settled like on the bank layers and stuff, because what this is going to do is it's going to take all of our time and it's going to give it back to us, and we don't really know what that's going to entail. And the way it's going to do that is stable coins are at the T+0, and that's trade 0 days after, basically. And so most of the world, well, the US is operating on trade plus 1 day. And if your bank is saying, hey, it's still 2 more days, they're just collecting yield on it. There's just like some other middlemen that
your
are
time value of money. Absolutely.
Time. So when you get to T+0, it creates this velocity that we haven't even seen yet, where everyone can settle. And you might think you're settling right now, which is cool. That's super cool that you can send someone a PayPal and they have some money, right? Because they figured out a way in the system to like do some checks and balances while that money's actually being transferred. And so when we use these stable coins, they'll actually be happening in the background, just like when we log onto a website. You don't know what the hypertext protocol is, but you have seen HTTPS before your website every time, right? And you don't type it out. Sometimes it pops up for you. You don't really know what it does, but it sends the data from one side to the other. And USDCs and USDTs and all these stable coins will be used by these institutions to speed this up. And they'll put it in the background where you don't have to know you're using the stable coin. And I think that is going to be the next layer, where everyone, like Robinhood is currently doing 24-hour markets 5 days a week, and it starts on a Sunday. So I was able in some instances to get some information on a weekend. Maybe it's a Roaring Kitty tweet, or maybe some like financial news came out, or a headline, and you can make a trade on that Sunday before everybody's in. Like, I mean, other retail investors can participate with you, but most of the institutions cannot trade until Monday, until markets open. And that gives you this advantage. And the way they're able to do this, because they're able to settle in stable coins on the weekends. And so we still don't know what's going to open up, but I think we get 24/7 trading. We get all the stuff that US dollars can currently do, but we get it plugged into the blockchain technology. And so super excited to see how 24-hour trading comes about, fractionalizing a lot of things like real estate and like other items. It's gonna become very, very easy, because it has a built-in ledger security thing with ETH. And that's when ETH will start exploding, when it's being used in the background of a lot of the stuff that we're already doing, because you can't use Bitcoin for that. Bitcoin will be more of like a banking asset. So like a banking reserve, just like gold. So when you're thinking about this, 2 different piles, but it's going to be stablecoin summer at Bitcoin Beach. So I'll see you there.
Amen. Laura, anything to add?
I mean, I think that something needs to happen to where it's simplified for the everyday user. I think that we kind of depended on L2s for that to happen. But I still think if it's difficult for my mom to do it, then it's probably not going to happen. It has to be as easy as it was for your mom using Robinhood, and that's really my take on it.
It looks like Bitcoin is going to not Bitcoin, Base is going to remove the rails that people have had to hold on to and know these words, and it's just going to work out of the box. And we look at it as Base and ETH are going to be the main contractual layers, and that they're going to continue to rip. And we're looking for other reasons to integrate additional chains, but right now that's where our head's at, and that's why I wanted to get your guys' opinion of what do you guys think is next. So I'll ask that, and then I'm going to run down. We got a rapid fire, and we'll wrap it up. I'll ask that. Where do you guys think the future is of these chains? Is it thousands of chains? Are these things going to start to consolidate? What do you think it looks like in 5, 10, 20 years?
If Lord was speaking, he would say it's a technocracy, or I forget what he keeps saying, but it's yeah, I honestly think it will consolidate.
Techno-feudalism
of blockchains. And is Base ran on optimism? Do you guys know? I was just curious, because if it is on there, I mean, no matter what ETH wins, the L2 has never really attracted anybody except for these money grabs. You know, we've seen these machines, we've seen these airdrops, we've seen the PvP stuff, and it always works for a certain amount of time, right? And then just like Laura said, there's no money coming back. They just kind of take it out and they never cycle back in because there's not really any value to stay.
Well, that's how Hyperliquid's getting all their value right now, right?
Yeah.
Is they're just buying the token, right? Is that, I mean, you guys are seeing that's so like that, what you said is exactly what Hyperliquid is doing. It seems like that's the final narrative of take the money and buy your token to keep the price high.
No, yeah, exactly. It's more of it's like, when is it going to fall down type of game, not like if it's going to fall down, because there's never an incentive to kind of jump back into the ecosystem. And I've played with a lot of them. I've bridged over a lot, but I never stay for long. And I do think it's interesting because Base, I'm sorry, Coinbase is actually trying to get all your stable coins over there on Base as well. And they own the biggest part of that Circle deal. And so it's like, when you're looking at Circle and it's valuated at like 1,000 XPE, you're like, oh, they must make a lot of money off their stuff. And it's like, yeah, they do make a lot of money off of all the issued USDC, but they pay a lot of it to Coinbase. Coinbase is eating, and they're eating really good. So I do think Coinbase is going to be very much more popular in the future. Oh, yeah. Whether you like it or not, like you said, it's going to be in the background. So that's a good take. I'm going to carry that one with me in future conversations, because I have to look into it. But yeah, it definitely makes sense, because BlackRock's behind USDC, and they just it all kind of goes hand in hand with the bigger technocracy lore that's going on too. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be only a few winners, but everyone here who still is around crypto will be able to identify those winners much earlier than Wall Street. So I think there's opportunity still, for sure.
I feel like once the onboarding event happens, I feel that every company will want their own layer. Every company will want to collect their own fees. I don't think that it's going to get consolidated as quickly, because once we see like institutions are onboarded and they're actually putting their customers onto the cryptocurrency wave, I don't think that they're just going to say, okay, let's go with the best that's already built. They're going to definitely figure out how to maximize that revenue for them.
Yeah, Amazon announced yesterday they're going to do a stable coin. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that, but at least they're going down the path. Them and somebody else.
Oh my gosh, that's the most consumeristic company to put that out. That's very interesting. So when we're usually seeing it with banking, credit card, institutions that are in the finance space, fintech, even AI. But seeing it with Amazon, Amazon's getting their hands in everything: healthcare, shipping. They're even stable coins now, it seems. So
yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys remember that Facebook got banned, or like it was like they were trying to do Libra and they were like, hell no, you ain't doing that. But it was because they were thinking early, like, oh, I don't even think Facebook realized like, oh, I have this huge community. This is going to be a huge currency. Like, I don't even think they were really thinking about it that way. But when you look back, the way regulation reacted is they were terrified that this guy was going to have so much power.
Yep.
And we never really seen it take off because of that.
But also when he did that, I mean, when he spoke to Congress, it didn't sound like he had much insight. It didn't sound like he really knew that, like he was briefed on that before he
Right.
was taking that meeting.
Yeah, he was parroting. He wasn't more of an expert than anybody in this space, acting like he was talking to Congress, you know. Laura, anything to add?
I mean, I don't. I think that Eddie and Britt pretty much covered it. I'm not that intelligent enough. I'm actually anti every company having their own chain. I mean, I can't imagine having 150 different wallets for the several companies that I interact or do business with. I think if everybody has a stable coin, then there's no point in any stable coin. And we're just going back to a point system like I have in my Wawa app, and that's the way that I feel about that. It just at some point, I think that doing that is just going to turn it more into a fad that eventually just gets eroded because there's just no point in it. And so I actually hope that doesn't happen. I would prefer that these companies learn and figure out how to build and accept on the layers that exist now.
Well, we thought that was going to happen. We thought things were going to change when we stopped paying for cable and we had streaming, and now YouTube sells you cable, and everybody's back to let's just do cable. And it seems like that's what will happen with the financial institutions as well. As we're just going to go full circle, and it's just going to pump Bitcoin. And the companies, it's, you know, Coinbase or whoever else. All right, so we've got NOT NFT NYC coming up June 26th, all day in Manhattan at the Producers Club. They start kicking off around noon, and it's going to go all evening. They've got tons of events. They've got a comedy show. They've got a bunch of art, panelists, speakers, food and drinks, merch, DJ. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to premiere the first episode of The Real Metaverse there with them live. The Rad team that's based in New York and myself will be there. Every end of our episodes, we like to do a rapid fire. I know there's 3 guests today. So we're going to do rapid fire questions, just really quick to wrap up. And we're going to start with Brittany. We'll do Brittany, Lore, and then Eddie. And so rapid fire, if you want to pass, feel free to say pass. Are you ready?
Give it to me.
Favorite artist of all time, not musician, artist, like painter or sculptor or whatever.
Basquiat.
Danny Cole.
Hunter S. Thompson.
Amen. Favorite band or musician, musician of all time, artist, you know, rapper, whatever.
The Smiths or Sublime?
Let's go.
Absol.
Wow. Okay.
Metallica.
So diverse. Look at you 3. Favorite movie?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Coach Carter.
Heat.
Favorite TV show?
Ooh, Sex and the City.
Breaking Bad.
Shit, he took Breaking Bad. Oh, Vikings.
Favorite restaurant in the world, anywhere, ever?
The one of the only Italian restaurants in the Western District in Hong Kong. I think it's called by the Butterfly Hotel.
Home.
Oh,
Love that. Winner, winner.
You already got the girl, Eddie. You don't have to. You don't have
Hey,
to keep doing
that's how you keep her. That's how you keep her, King. That's what's up, baby. That's what's up.
He took my answer. I'm actually just more jealous of that. It's a closed now, but it was called La Malinche in El Paso, Texas. And it was just the best Mexican restaurant and the best Mexican food in the world. But since they're closed, I'll go with Chico's Tacos in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, I love Mexican food. It's my go-to. That or a cheeseburger, but usually Mexican. Last question. Bitcoin price in 2040.
We're at a milli, baby.
Yeah, it's got to be a milli.
I'm going $1 sats.
Wow. $1 sats is the fire line, Ed. I love that line. That's incredible. Great. All right. You guys, I have loved watching your journey. You guys know it's legit. You guys know we've been cheering you guys on just for the love of the game. And we love what you guys are doing. We love the energy you bring to the community. We love the way you show up. Your energy, your expertise, just the consistency throughout all the things I've just said is really what shines the brightest in this space. And showing up on the hard days, you guys' timelines aren't full of bullshit and politics. You guys really keep it valuable, and no gossip or BS. It's really, you guys show up and serve the community, and we are very grateful for it and grateful to be a part of your community. We're very excited to meet you all. Thank you for your time today. Give us, go ahead, each one of you take a couple seconds or a minute, and anything you'd like to shout out or plug before we get off here.
I'll go first, man. We used to start our shows out like this, but I'd love to do an old school AOU intro with shout outs, baby. You know how we started off. We got Big Bag Eddie, Big Bad Brittany, broadcasting live all the way from the West Side. We're in the house with Rad TV. We got Ashley. Make sure you check out their event, the Quirkies out in New York. You got to be there. Big Bad Liz Mejia, everybody's favorite +1, the Miami tour guide, the official sponsor of Not NFT NYC. We got Dino Paul. Listen, man, that's a huge pot of high five, but you got to love it. Chef Poncho coming in with the cookies and the gumballs. We got Taylor. Still don't, after 4 or 5 years, don't know if Taylor's a guy or a girl. So whenever you see that person, kick them right in the midsection and let us know what you find. We got Yo ho 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 in the building, bro. It's the Mexican Santa Claus, I think. We got Big Bad Barnum Cat. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do tricks on the side as a side gig. Shout out Jack. Jack is just Jack. And you guys didn't know it, but this whole time we've had a musical legend in the building. Bad Bunny is with us. So shout out to everybody who made it this far into the episode today.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. You guys, make sure you check out Not NFT NYC. And tickets are all in link in bio.
Rad, I'm so excited for your premiere on the 26th at Not NFT NYC, happening at the Producers Club. We can't wait to see you there. Tap in if you haven't yet. Link is in everybody's bio on stage, I believe.
Thanks so much for having us, bro.
Thank you all for your time today. We're looking very much forward to meeting you all. Yes, the links for everything are on our timeline. You can check the Jumbotron in here for links to tickets. We're going to continue promoting Not NFT NYC. We hope to see you all there. We will be in NYC that whole week. If anybody would like to meet up for coffee or anything, our DMs are open. Feel free to reach out. My name is Cameron, and you guys can find me everywhere, Discord, DMs. I'm the only person that's responding there. Feel free to reach out with any questions. It's free for creators and audiences to get started on Rad TV. You can start monetizing today and earn 33% more than you would on YouTube when they eventually get around to splitting the few shekels with you that they will allow you to take home while they monetize your account for the first year and however long it takes you to get there. We've got a ton of stuff we're rolling out over the next several weeks, including the launch of the Real Metaverse, which has 5 major NFTs starring in Hollywood, real world style situations, and it's a lot of fun. Excited to share that. We're actually launching a new trailer today at 4:20 p.m. So tune in for that. The current trailer is live, pinned to the top of our profile right now. Go follow these legends in this chat right here. Ed, Brittany, Lord, Not NFT NYC, All of Us Radio. Connect with them, befriend them. They have amazing energy, and we are lucky to be a part of their community. Shout out to everybody who tuned in today. Very grateful to be here now, building with you all. What a time to be alive. I hope you are inspired. Keep creating. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you at NFT NYC, and primarily at NOT NFT NYC, Thursday, June 26th, all day, in Manhattan. What's the name of the building again?
Producers
The
Club.
Producers Club in Manhattan. Get your tickets. We'll have it pinned to the top of our profile all day. Go check it out. Brittany, Ed, Lore, thank you all so much.
Love you.
Have a good Friday, everyone.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Creators rise, it's your time. Monetize, keep every dime.